Attention, all you fishes in the sea. Welcome to the Fishbowl with Sam Fisher.
The late night with Phil thing is genius.
Thank you.
I mean, like that's something I really appreciate because obviously me and you talking right now and in our interview, I just like I don't know, it hits me like that's something I would have, that's it's my type of humor basically,
Mm,
and like
yeah,
spoofing stuff like that and doing like a satire. And I've seen all the clips with Tony Pepperoni,
yeah,
and that one is really hysterical. I think the two bits that I like the most, number one is the sausage pepperoni comparison to circumcision.
mhm, yeah.
Uh, I was like, I thought that was pretty, using
That's
the
good.
meats, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
kind of joke. And then the Dune, which I also could compare to Scanners.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
I almost wish that like it would have cut to like your head exploding or something,
Yeah, that would have been good. We don't have the budget for that, but that would have been
Right,
a perfect
right,
ending.
right. But that I was like that would happen. I was like that would have been the icing on the cake. But the Dune thing was also like I guess more relevant now. It's like
Yeah,
you know only people like you and my age and like cult horror kids that are in high school and in their 20s and whatnot are like even aware of who David Cronenberg is,
yeah.
and his repertoire of films, different body horror film genres and stuff. But yeah, I immediately was like, Dune was funny, but I was also thinking Scanners, and I was like, that if I saw the head explode, that would have actually been like pretty cool. But still, I was like, how that how Tony just like put his hand on your head and was like, you know, you're saved.
I didn't know he was gonna do that.
Really. I guess it kind of shows in the reel or whatever. It was that those are like my two favorite bits. And then
Nice.
yeah, I mean what's like all in like how did that kind of come about, and any like future stuff involvement, more guests, stuff like that coming down the line sort of thing.
Yeah, we were just doing the monologue and then wanted to start trying out some interviews and things like that. So Tony is probably the one. There's somebody else named Robbie Key, a comedian here. He does this character where he's President Zachary Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, so he's doing we did some interviews with him and then this one. And then do you know, we don't know this guy, but he does a character called Black Wolf, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did an interview too, but we don't release them as interviews. It's just the clips.
Okay.
But yeah, he's really funny. He's like a expert on women and like the pickup game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm, I look forward to that one. It's like I get a good chuckle sharing, checking out the stuff, the reels and everything. I'm like trying to currently like revamp my own stuff to put out as reels and
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Yeah, I
So
appreciate the support. You've been like, resharing stuff and appreciate that because we just started doing it. It's only been 3 or 4 months. We started doing the monologues and then just started doing the interviews maybe like 2 months ago. But we have a little situation with the monologue timing because a lot of the stuff is headline news.
right.
So by the time we write it and then we shoot it and then we release these clips, it's already a lot of time has been passed. So we're trying to figure out how we can do this faster and like quicker, put it out quicker because we want to catch the news a little bit. It's not going to be,
Right.
yeah,
Well, the one of the issues with that alone is that like with news these days,
yeah, it's
it's
fast.
it's literally on a second to minute to hourly, day by day basis. You know,
There
with
are
crazy
some
shit going on.
stories, there are some topics that just stay in the news. It's like
Yeah,
Epstein.
that's true. That's true.
There's certain things that are like kind of staying around, which is good for us. And then we do local stuff too. So it's international, national, and local. We try to get like one local story in each we shoot. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We're gonna keep working on it, and we usually do about maybe 15 to 20 headlines,
Hmm.
and we'll take that and then cut that up. It'll be once every week we'll shoot. So
Just to like get all in like one like big chunk of time, or
yeah, because we'll get in there and we'll do it in an hour and a half or 2 hours at the max, get everything shot, and then those clips can go out for we release it daily, so it's like got 2 weeks worth of clips, but we're already shooting a week later the next 15 clips or whatever, but it'll vary. So, but yeah, when you have that much stuff in the can ready to post,
right?
it's you got to kind of choose what you're going to post because it's like what's relevant. What we wrote a week ago is now maybe not
Yeah,
relevant
yeah,
either. But we're still posting it because it's like, what else are we going to do with it? If it's maybe it'll come
right.
back, or maybe there's residual interest in that topic or something like that.
I
Yeah.
totally get it. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with you where I just am now getting off the ground because like I've like had stockpiles of episodes and I'm just now like after a break from kind of doing it for a couple years and figuring things out like how am I gonna get the content out, you know,
Mhm.
to keep it relevant and also get to the point where like all these other big podcasters like do it daily, and have new content to put out and the production value to do that. All that costs money, So I have, I'm looking to my old college, which might be an avenue to look into if there's any like, I mean, I know there has to be, colleges in Austin with, you know, like a cinema department or
Mhm.
like something
Hey,
like that,
UT
that
has a amazing program.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I would,
Community college.
yeah, community college especially would probably be a really good route. But I know, I mean, if I can contact my college, and basically say like I need help, and there's also speak back to Tom Savini, he has a makeup effects school that's like his school
Oh,
in
that's cool.
area a little outside of Pittsburgh. It's called Monessen. It's like its own little, I guess, like county or something, whatever,
Hmm.
district, city, whatever. But they have a little bit of movie trivia history because I've gone on tours there because I used to want to pursue that. And the shootout in the first RoboCop, the climax at the steel factory, the
Mm-hmm.
abandoned steel factory, that was actually shot in Monessen.
Okay.
So the whole like reference where Lewis's character's family is from Pittsburgh, like that's probably a good reason why, because they filmed the steel factory showdown with like Clarence and his whole gang at a abandoned steel factory in Manassas in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And you also kind of hear in a lot of other movies, like, Pittsburgh being mentioned, like, a lot. And I'm not always sure why it is, but I do know that Pittsburgh has like a big like film connection to Hollywood somehow. I mean, I know that they film a lot of stuff here. I actually know that from when I first started going to Point Park, I was taking this like intro to film history type class, and they took us on this tour. It was in downtown Pittsburgh, and they took us on this tour, and I actually found out that the famous Warner Brothers Studios, WB, that just was freaking sold or bought by Netflix.
Hmm.
Uh, the two brothers, Jewish brothers, started here in downtown Pittsburgh.
Oh,
And
I didn't know
and
that.
yes, and there's a whole very cool story behind it. And basically they owned what it was originally was a vaudeville, going
Mm,
back to, comedy and everything.
yeah.
The dawn of the century silent film guys, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, the Three Stooges, you know, all those major, innovators in comedy would play at vaudevilles, and there was the Warner Brother Theater in downtown Pittsburgh. And basically two mafioso guys come into the Warner Brothers Theater, and they're like, "You two Jew boys doing so well for yourselves, you need protection, and you're gonna basically cough up XYZ amount to us, once a week, once a month sort of thing, whatever, and you know, we're that's gonna be paying for our protection." The two Warner Brothers were like, what the fuck do we need their protection for? You know, they want to steal our profits, because
Mhm.
we're doing good for ourselves. And they basically said, they knew Los Angeles at the time was a place where the future of industry and entertainment was going to be. And at a time to travel cross country, you had to do it by train. And there were no air conditionings in those trains.
Mm,
So they basically, like in a week, they closed up shop, packed everything up, moved all the way out to Los Angeles, set up shop, and the theory was like, if the mafioso guys are gonna come after us, we're gonna make it hard for them to come after us because they're gonna have to basically travel from, like New York, New Jersey area, all the way to the opposite end of the country where it's
mm,
hot, and sweaty. It's a major inconvenience at the time, and the rest is like, history, up to now with the thing being bought by Netflix. But that's like the actual story about how Warner Brothers Studios actually started.
mm.
And it goes back to here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is I like to tell people about Pittsburgh is we are, besides, big sports city, we are the zombie capital uh, of uh, of the world because George Romero, the guy who did, pretty much
Hmm.
invented the modern zombie. The undead coming back to life, shoot it in the head and the brain to kill it, thing all came from Night of the Living Dead into Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, and Creep Show, one of my favorites. Tom Savini, also from Pittsburgh. Greg Nicotero, who is the guy in charge of The Walking Dead, now
Mm.
also from Pittsburgh and
Is
was
that still
Tom.
going?
Yeah, apparently. I'm as shocked as you are.
Mm.
Now, I think they're now at the point that all the major like characters have their like spin-off shows,
Yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
kind of doing, I guess, what there was that show on Stars, Power. Like,
I never saw it, but yeah, I heard about that.
I honestly don't watch it either. I just, I see the commercials enough that I kind of know like what the
Yeah.
what the storyline is,
Yeah.
but like I know that like it ran.
Storyline. What storyline?
Right, right. Honestly, like all those shows on Stars kind of blend together. You know,
Yeah.
the only show that I ever like religiously watched on there was Ash versus Evil Dead
Oh,
because
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I am a huge Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, Evil Dead fan. That is one of my top like five favorite horror movies of all time. Really, it's
Very
Evil
good.
Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is the one that I'm
Did they
like is
remake it twice? Did they do the same version twice or something?
so they remade the original one in like the
Yes.
2010s. And then last summer or something, maybe the summer before, they had a new Evil Dead movie that is still within the
I think I saw
original.
that.
That's the one where they're in the apartment building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Evil
yeah, yeah.
Dead Rise.
I thought it was good. It was scary.
Yeah. I
I mean,
just
not the
watched it. It reminds me of the first Evil Dead. Like for me, like I like Evil Dead 2 is my favorite. Then I'd go Army of Darkness, then Evil Dead 1. Just because like Evil Dead 2 to me has the perfect amount of like the horror versus like the slapstick humor, like campiness,
yeah.
aspect, and then
The
Army of
first one's
Darkness.
just dark.
Yeah, it's like it literally is NC-17.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's disturbing like images and stuff with
Yeah.
the effects in the first one, and it's straight horror, straight
Hmm.
like like it's done on like a very like indie kind of budget too, and
Yeah.
they do like a lot with the money that they have, which is why I'm like Sam Raimi is one of the genius filmmakers of our generation. I don't think he gets enough credit as
Yeah.
as with as good of a writer and director that he is. Because he started out doing Evil Dead, and then like transitioned to doing more like serious movies, and then obviously Spider-Man. But I mean, as far as Spider-Man goes, I don't think Spider-Man has gotten better since his movies. I mean, yeah, the third one has problems for sure, which is a lot of studio interference. But like in terms of the writing and I don't know, emotional like character development, I always thought the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and not just because like, you and me are old enough to be like that's what we grew up with. And then
Hmm.
everything else has just been like a rehash, respat, like reiteration literally up to that last one where they had all the Spider-Mans in one movie thing,
Yeah.
which is like I get how like for the here and now, like that's like a big deal, but like I don't know, from like a writer's perspective, I'm like, that's real lazy writing, you know?
Hmm.
Like it works in like a comic book universe, because that's how stuff is actually like in the comics. But like in terms of like, I don't know, movie, film entertainment, it just is like you're throwing a bunch of people from older movies into like new movies is like a
Yeah.
rehash sort of thing because I feel, and it's kind of obvious that you're lazy and out of ideas and everything. And that's like mainstream Hollywood has to have like some sort of propaganda or like agenda inserted into the movie, and nothing can be like, like it was, when we
Hmm.
were growing up. Like you had options, like, comic book movies didn't dominate, the film and TV, entertainment. We had the freaking X-Files,
Hmm.
you know. I mean, how many shows in the 90s and even 2000s, were like It was like you had a lot of different options, you
Yeah.
know, and I just feel like we've been going, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, it's all getting conglomerated, right?
yeah,
What
it's like
happens?
everything's getting bought by something else. It reminds me of both basketball and idiocracy.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, everybody's drawing parallels to Idiocracy.
Yeah, and
So,
well, that movie especially,
yeah.
I feel like like we're getting dumber and dumber, and we're losing track of not just like it's society, but it's also like entertainment. Like everything has to be about money. You know, I get that like it was always kind of about money to begin with, especially with movies and stuff like that. But like I also can say that like there was at least like more freedom of like like you kind of said at the beginning with like just try it out, let's see if it works,
Hmm.
sort of thing.
I
And I
think there
remember,
were there were a
yeah,
lot more tours, artists just making stuff and then getting into the system to get paid, right? And I don't think that's happening as much. It's more like they have like tight knit, the agencies, the people that they work with, the books that they publish, that ownership, it's all connected. So they're just like working in these ecosystems. But I think when everything was good, better creatively, you were getting people pulled out who had stuff that people liked, and then they're betting that this person is going to make a good song or a good movie or whatever it is. I don't think that there is much that now. And Kill Tony, a lot of people see that as a way to, springboard from nothing
right,
to
right,
have some opportunities, right? So yeah, I think those are very limited now compared to how open it was. You used to have people going around looking for people to represent, like, actively
right, right,
in all the arts, all the fields. And
exactly. And
those are the times when all of those agencies were started, all of the studios that built all those movies got bought out later, but that's really the times where it's all about talent. And so going out and finding new talent consistently without it having to be sold to you already, which is
right, right.
something that doesn't exist anymore. You know that famous agent, I think he represented Mike Myers and like hundreds of other people. Rick Rubin, maybe. I forget his name, but Mike Myers did a movie about him, a documentary called Ubermensch, I think. But yeah, like a guy like that doesn't exist in this time, which is a guy that's literally going into clubs, going into, meeting people and actually being like, hey, I think we should try this with this person. Like that doesn't exist.
Exactly, and even more so, it's like I follow Tyler Fisher
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. He is brilliant, hysterical, and I would say a patriot to this country and comedy. Keeping racial edgy, pushing the budget, pushing the edge on what you can and cannot do
I
with
was on a
comedy.
podcast with him. If you want to watch it,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's the Comedy Cellar. He and I were talking about free speech and comedy and stuff. But yeah, check it out. Just go to Comedy Cellar, Tyler
I,
Fisher.
I will definitely check that out because I mean it,
Oh, my link,
I
my link tree has it too. If you go to my
okay.
Instagram, you can click the link. It'll take you to that interview.
Okay, I will definitely do that today. Uh, whenever we're finished
Sweet.
chatting here and check it out, because I totally agree with everything that he has to say, and it's a fucking scary time that we're living in, and I honestly think it's like the fall of Rome,
Oh,
sort of thing. He listen, I relate to Tyler, not just like from like b belief perspective, but on like a personal level, like
okay.
divorced household situation, which my parents are divorced, and it's an ugly, ugly situation, you know, unfortunately. But I just I relate to him on that level, and then like on his beliefs and comedy style, and everything he kind of keeps pushing the edge, and you
Mm,
know, I mean, I share all his stuff too, because
nice.
I'm like he is not only like a brilliant comedian as well, but the voices that he does, the things that he's making fun of, you know, are very, I mean, it's stuff that nobody wants to talk about, and stuff
Mm,
that nobody, there's people who want to talk about it, but we get shut down for wanting to talk about it, and
mm.
it's by our family members, it's by our friends, it's by our jobs, our employers, you know, in
What's he
certain
talking about?
instances. Well, just like, stuff on like current event stuff, all his like COVID stuff, and
Uh,
stuff on like Trump, and Mamdani, and
he likes
uh
Trump?
well, I think he likes Trump. I mean, I mean, he does a pretty good Trump impression. I mean, I try to steer away from like politics and
Yeah,
political
yeah.
beliefs because honestly, in my opinion, I don't trust the government.
Yeah, no, I'm with you
I'm,
on
I'm
that.
like I'm like they don't have they never and ever will have the best interests of the people in mind. And honestly, from seeing like everything unfold, from like uh, I'll go back to Bush Jr. to Obama to Trump one to Biden slash Weekend at Bernie's to
Yeah.
Trump 2.0 that we're in now. All it says to me is that there's somebody running the show and it ain't us.
Mhm. That's for sure.
So somebody has an agenda, and there's almost like frighteningly more evidence that like we, the common people, supposedly what the Constitution was founded on and intended for, are losing our rights, on alarming, frighteningly alarming rate, as
We
we
have
go on.
covered a lot of ground. Um, yeah, we're not getting into this at an hour and a
uh,
half.
we'll save that
Yeah,
for
another time.
another time.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
because I'm like, I hate to go down that road because we can. It's a dirty, it's a shady, it's a nasty, dirty road,
Yeah.
and I'm right I'm right there with you. Um, I guess I can't believe it's been an hour and a half already. Jeez.
Yeah, time flew, man. You
Yeah.
got any other questions for me before we?
Yeah. I guess I have some closer questions for you.
Yeah.
Let's get to those. One, I wanted to know what are some of your favorite films slash music, bands, and all that, and then upcoming projects, stuff with Late Night with Phil, anything, and then have one final question,
Oh,
which
damn, that's
is
like 10 questions, Sam. What the hell are you? Okay. Movies, we talked about Predator. We talked
we all
about
right. We
Alien.
can skip movies.
Those are
We'll,
great. Those are
we'll
great.
just
Yeah.
we'll go to upcoming stuff, and then I have
I
one
will say
final.
though, I am a big indie film guy. So like, starting out with very early on with a lot of indie films, probably like early Soderbergh and all that stuff for the 90s, of that kind of stuff. And then getting into 70s, 80s, and then pre stuff. But yeah, I'm really into film. And I worked in film for like 10 years before a while back, a long time ago. But
Awesome.
yeah. So what do you want to jump into?
All right, so here's a silly question. It's my final question.
Mhm.
On the ending on the note of a comedic note. If you were a fish or a sea creature, what fish or sea creature would you be?
A creature or a fish? Loch Ness monster.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love
I could do that.
it. I'd be the Meg.
Oh shit. Okay. That's a fantastical creature. It's made up by CGI. It's not the Loch Ness is real. So real thing.
That will also have to save for another time because I'm also a tinfoil nut
Nice.
when it comes to aliens and mythology and stuff like that. I'm very Bigfoot exists. Bigfoot does
Mm.
exist, and so does the Loch Ness monster. I'm right there with
Again,
you.
everything I say, ironically, you're taking it literally. That's crazy. It's not my part to interpret. That's for everyone else. Their responsibility is to interpret things as they see fit.
Oh boy, do I feel like a fish in hot water.
Yeah,
Or fried fish in this sense.
fish and chips, mate.
Excellent. Well, Phil, thank you so much for taking the time to swim in the fishbowl with me.
Yes.
I hope the temperature was just right.
Yeah, it was good, Sam. It was good talking with you. Good meeting you. And God bless you.
Definitely, definitely. I will let you know when this is up, but any kind of shout out or something would be awesome. And I look forward to keeping in touch and Fishbowl 2.0.
I'll see you around. Catch me at Phyllis Funny.
Definitely, definitely. All right.
See you,
Take
Sam.
care. Hey there, all my fishes in the sea. Thanks for tuning into today's episode and for being a subscriber. Your continued listenership and support means the most and helps keep the show growing to deeper and deeper depths. I want to let all my guppies in the sea know the Fishbowl has now officially partnered with FastCustomShirts.com, where they're now selling custom Fishbowl t-shirts under their podcast and website section. Every t-shirt that's purchased helps and goes a long way to keep the show growing to deeper and deeper and higher depths. I also now have custom hats, beanies, handbags, pens, mouse pads, everything to make you look like the coolest looking fish in the sea, which you can DM me directly on Instagram at the Fishbowl88 or on Facebook at just the Fishbowl, or you can friend request me, Sam Fish, directly and get yours today. Your continued listenership and support again means the most. It's the most important fishes that flock together. We are a school of fish and we keep the unit going. Let's all keep swimming upstream.